This is a small group discussion with J. Krishnamurti in Ojai, California, 1979.
Krishnaji, you remember we had nearly 4.5 or 5 hours discussion last June in London. Brookwood, and there was still a little question. As I remember, you said that a bad man will not be good. I don't know whether I understood it correctly. When I said there is a possibility, a bad man evolving and developing and becoming good. I don't know whether I
think I understood what you said. Are you saying that goodness is born out of evil?
No, certainly not.
No. So goodness is totally divorced from that which is bad.
Yes.
Goodness is not born out of badness.
No.
So a bad man can never become good. All he can do is drop being bad.
That is what I meant by...
Yes. That which is evil cannot become good.
No, certainly. That is definite.
So, bad man, bad guys as they say,
yes.
And the good guys, the bad guy cannot become the good guy. He can stop being the bad.
That is right.
That's all.
Yes, that is, I fully agree. Perhaps that day this was not clearly understood. Bad can never become good.
Yes.
What you call a bad man becoming good, not that he becomes good with his badness, what we call becoming good is dropping bad.
That's right. That which is ugly can never become beautiful.
Certainly, yes.
But the very ending of ugliness is beautiful.
That's yes. That I fully understand and agree. Yes. This was one point I wanted to clarify. And then another one I wanted to ask you. Now, of course, I fully understand and fully agree with you that it is quite clear when we say a bad man has the capacity, the possibility, the opportunity to become good means he has the capacity, ability to drop his badness.
That's right.
Yes, that is agreed. Another thing was, you asked me a question when I pointed out to you what you teach today was taught by the Buddha 25 centuries ago. Then you asked me if I didn't know Buddhism, Buddha's teaching and all the Buddhist philosophy, how could I have reacted to your writings?
That's right. That's what I asked you.
Yes. I said I could not answer that question because that is a condition you put on me which never existed. And so now what I wanted to say, and you agreed also, we are all conditioned.
No, but what I'm saying, a Catholic,
yes,
a devout, practicing Catholic,
yes,
will never understand what Buddhism is. He'll understand it intellectually.
yes.
He'll grasp the logic and the sanity of it,
yes,
but he won't be a Buddhist in the real sense,
yes,
because he's conditioned
yes,
to the worship of Jesus and all the rest of it.
yes.
Now, to understand Buddhism, we are taking that as an example.
Yes, yes.
You must have a fresh mind.
Yes.
You can't be prejudiced against it or for it.
Yes.
You must be in a state of inquiry to find out what the Buddha said.
Yes. That's right.
So, as most people are conditioned, either religiously, politically, economically, or conditioned by their culture, they cannot possibly understand something which is totally different from their own culture. Now, to understand something which belongs to neither,
Yes.
one must be totally free.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm making
Yes,
myself
yes,
clear.
yes, right. But to understand what you say, if one knows Buddhism, is no hindrance. That I say.
Oh, that probably.
Yes, no hindrance.
No.
Because it is allied. It is the same thing.
No, but I've heard Hindus come to me
Yes.
saying this is what
Upanishad.
you follow.
Yes, yes. Yes.
So each person, I've heard a Benedictine monk
Yes.
who has left the Benedictine order
Yes.
in Rome come to me and say, look, what you're talking about is the greatest secret teachings of our whole group.
Yes.
So each translates it according to his own fancy.
Yes. Now I wanted to ask you, even for these people to know, and was because of this conditioning question, and you were conditioned by a certain formation.
Certain?
Formation, certain bringing up. Suppose, this is the question directly. If you remained at Madanapalli in your village, and if you were not brought up by Annie Besant, Leadbeater and all those people, given this education and training, and prepared to be the Maitreya Buddha and all that, and then you rejected all those things, and if not that kind of thing did not happen, and if you remained at Madanapalli, at your village, would you have become a teacher as you are today?
There are two things, sir. First of all, they never conditioned me.
That, of course...
No, please realize,
yes.
I was born in a very, very, very traditional Brahmanical family. Tradition, you know what that
yes,
is?
yes, of course.
Tremendous.
Yes.
They never. He was never conditioned by them.
Yes.
That was the strange part.
Yes.
When they found me, brought me up, they purposely avoided conditioning him.
Uh-huh.
Because they said, we are nobodies.
Yes.
It's the Lord that's going to take the body.
Yes.
Therefore, we can't interfere.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what they believed, and that they
Yes, yes, yes.
they said so.
Yes.
And they saw to it that I was not conditioned
Yes.
by their beliefs, by their theosophical background, and all that.
Yes.
Because they said his body, etc., etc.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, if they had not found me, probably the boy would have died. Because as I told you, I just met in Madras a chap, 91 he is.
Yes.
He was there when they found me, an Englishman.
Yes, when you were found at Adyar.
Yes. When they found the boy, he was there.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him, I said, if they hadn't found me, the boy,
Yes.
what would have happened?
Yes.
He said he probably would have died.
Yes. Supposing he didn't die, that you can't answer, of course.
I can't answer
that. I know. You have to imagine something and say, but it is not...
Probably, if he had lived, probably he would have gone on this same thing.
Yes, that is what I say. For instance, there were many teachers in India like that. They never went out of their home, village.
No.
But they became great teachers.
But I wouldn't call those great teachers.
Yes, but I mean to say the popular accepted...
popular?
Like say, Tiruvannamalai.
Yes, Ramana Maharshi,
yes.
And there were various saints.
Yes.
But they are different. We're not.
Oh yes, quite different. Yes, it is quite different, and I have somebody very devoted to me in Paris gave a book, sayings by Ramana Maharshi. I couldn't read it. When I read 2-3 pages, I got fed up.
Fed up, bored.
Yes, I could read it. But still, he was a great spiritual, I wouldn't deny it. I have never seen, I have never met him. So, this is...
I think this is a wrong impression most people have, that the Theosophical Society and the heads of the society conditioned the boy.
Yes, that was my impression also.
No, I think that's wrong. That would be unfair on their part.
Yes.
One is attributing to them something they didn't do.
They did not try.
They did not.
But suppose...
But they said, we'll have to look after the body.
Yes.
Feed it properly.
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean. Look after, give him proper exercise, proper food and all that. Nothing, apart from that, nothing else.
Now, see, when you were about, say, 16, 17 or so, the elderly people, even the old people, knelt before you asking for blessing.
Yes.
That is under the direction of Annie Besant and Leadbitter and those people's organization.
They didn't ask her, they didn't ask them to do that.
Yes, that's right. But that was the influence of those people's organization.
Yes.
Yes, they were the believers and followers of that organization.
Yes.
Weren't you, as a young man, a little bit
Flattered?
something? Yes.
No.
I didn't use the word flattered, but something like that. Yes.
That's the right word. Flattered.
Flattered. Yes. Yes.
No.
Rather gratified.
I was too shy. I want to run away from all this. I was much too shy.
Yes.
And I'll give you, the Clark told me too, not this year, last year, when they used to go with Dr. Besant as a boy, at all the stations,
yes.
Huge crowds used to meet.
Yes.
So I used to lock myself up in the lavatory.
To avoid the crowd.
So it is not that they conditioned me at all.
Yes. I was telling my friends, Professor Mackey and Mrs. Mackey, coming back, that how you broke away from all this tradition of the Brahminic, very strong Brahminic tradition, and so...
It's not breaking away, because it never entered into the skull.
Yes, even as a child.
Yes, it never entered into me. I asked this friend...
The Englishman.
That Englishman, he said, you are absolutely vacant.
Uh-huh.
Slightly moronic.
Yes.
I think that would be true.
Yes. I would like to ask Professor Mackey if he has any question to ask you.
Yes, sir. Ask anybody.
Would you like to ask him anything?
Allez-y, allons-y.
Another type of concern just at the moment, but this debate on. So, when you were talking about understanding Buddhism by somebody who is not Buddhist, and I was thinking that after all, it is what we anthropologists try to do professionally, understand other people where we have not the same background.
But you are in a different position, aren't you? You're an anthropologist, so you're inquiring. You're not bound by any system.
We are not bound, except that we have this kind of cultural conditioning. We have been brought up, even as anthropologists, within our own Western, French-American tradition. And then we go in a place like Sri Lanka, where people act in another way. Or in my case, I spent about 20 years in Africa. And so I saw people who have been brought up in another way. No, we try not to remain outside.
Quite.
And we try to
enter into their
an understanding from inside. And sometimes we wonder if we can achieve it. And it seems that in what you said just here, no, there is a sort of answer to that. You have to free yourself first, if understood what you answered to Dr. Rahula.
Yes, and as Krishnaji said, almost the same answer was given by the Buddha to a man when he said, "Sir, I can't understand what you said. I am more confounded and confused than before." Buddha said, "I am not surprised. Brought up in another tradition, under another system and another teacher, if you cannot understand what I say, I am not surprised."
Right.
What he says is that it is difficult. I mentioned this a few days ago also, Lamotte. Etienne Lamotte is a great Buddhist scholar. He's a Catholic father in Belgium. He's a very well-known man internationally. He told me, for a Buddhist to understand Christianity much easier than for a Christian to understand Buddhism.
Quite, I agree.
He's a Catholic father.
Of course, that's very simple.
Yes, he told me.
And that's very simple.
For a Buddhist to understand Christianity is much easier because his mind is
much sharper, much more
sharper,
alive.
freer. And for a Catholic to understand Buddhism is much more difficult.
So the question really
that is what you exactly said.
Yes.
With another background, it is very difficult.
No, but much more.
About your teaching, for a Buddhist, there is no conflict.
No. But the much more interesting question is, can the human mind, which has been conditioned for centuries, millennia, by various experiences, various cultures, various religious dogmas and so on, by tremendous experience, all accumulated in the brain, can that conditioning be totally dissolved? That's really what we are talking about, basically.
Yes.
But if we want to go not to this kind of perfect deconditioning that you are talking about, and if we take it at a lower level, the one of somebody trying to go from one conditioning, if I may say so,
to another. Yeah.
However, there it seems that, if I understand you rightly, the main point is not the intellectual approach, but rather to try to free oneself from whatever conditioning one has in order to be more receptive, rather than to try to
break through.
By reading all the books and that kind of thing.
Isn't it necessary to free the mind from the mechanical process of knowledge? I don't know if I'm making my...
Yes, I understand. I think.
Because all our activities, all our thinking is within the field of the known.
Field of the known.
Known.
Yes, yes.
And so we are prisoners. Whether it is the known of Indian culture, European culture, Catholic or whatever, it's always within the field of the known. And like Bronowski and others have said, only through knowledge you can ascend. The ascent of man and all that. I question it, whether man can ascend through knowledge. He can ascend technologically. But psychologically, inwardly, psychologically, inside the skin as it were, whether there is any ascent at all. Because if the mind doesn't free itself from the known, not from this known to that known, or from that to that, but which is all still within the field of the known, we are just moving in the past, modified and so on, so on. But if there is no freedom from the known, well, we are prisoners to this. We may make better transportations, better this and better that, but it's still within that.
And apart from technological possibilities, is it not also necessary for communication?
Yes.
Just communication?
Yes, human words, language.
They also belong to that.
Yes,
of the
yes,
known.
of course. You and I speak English, therefore we can understand each other. If I spoke Swahili,
he might understand.
you might.
He might understand, but not I.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Because he was in Africa.
Yes,
yes, it is.
No, I think this is really a tremendous problem. Real question whether human beings can ever be free at all.
May I remind you, sir, in Paris at Suarez's house, I asked you a question, and this is irrelevant to this. I said that you maintain, and in the Buddha also maintained the same position, that everything is conditioned in this world. All our mind and body and the environment and the world, everything is conditioned. That is, as in Sanskrit, word is Sanskrit, sankhata. Sankhata.
Yes.
Yes, yes. That is conditioned.
Samskara and skandhas.
Yes, yes. Sanskara, the other day we were talking, sanskara, part of the sanskaras belong to the past, part is now.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And then what is the question? Our question was a little bit...
Conditioning.
Conditioning, yes, conditioning. And I asked you, if all we are conditioned, and including our mind, how is liberation, freedom possible?
Yes, sir.
And I don't know whether you remember your answer. No. But if you now answer me, I will see whether it is the same answer. Because
of course.
I remember the answer.
I say it can be, of course.
How?
There is no how.
Yes, but what is liberation?
Wait a minute, sir. Liberation is, to define, are we defining the word?
No.
Or inquiring into the conditioned mind which cannot possibly understand what truth is.
Then to help the discussion, I will tell you what you told me that day. To see that we are conditioned is freedom.
Yes, sir.
You said.
Yeah.
And it is, then I told you it is exactly what the Buddha said. To see as it is liberation. As it is the condition.
Yes.
It is the liberation.
No,
that was the reply you gave. Now you can develop it. Yes. Because it was between you and me. There was nobody else.
Yes.
And I understood at once what you said. And you gave in few words. And of course, when you talk to me personally, you speak in 2-3 words. But here you can develop it further.
No, sir, but this is... You see, sir, science has not saved man, right? It has science.
Science has not saved.
Mm-hmm. Politics have not saved man. Saved man in the sense from sorrow, all that. Religions have not. So what is going to help him? Because all this, we have looked outside. Right? Like the communists would say, change the environment, change man. You know the old. But it hasn't happened. So, what is a human being to do when he realizes these facts? Not theoretically, but actually. What is he to do? He's given up politics, science. Of course, science, you understand what I mean. Well, don't have to. Religion, in the orthodox sense of the word. And he is not dependent on environment, the pressure of environment. So, whether the external pressure or the inward pressure are the same. So what is a man to do, a human being, who is in that position? Because first of all, very few people discard all this. Very, very few. If they discard science, they become religious, become Catholic, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever it is. If they are Buddhist, if they are religious, they say nonsense, I'm going to become scientist. In the sense, scientist, I'm going to accumulate knowledge and all the rest of it. Not to fall into the trap of one or the other. So, our minds are conditioned by these things. By Einstein, by all the politicians, by Hitler, by not by the Buddha, but by the sayings of the Buddha.
Rather, disciples of the Buddha.
Huh?
Disciples of
by the disciples,
yes.
by the sayings of the Buddha,
yes.
or by the sayings of saints of India, or by Jesus through his priests, all that. So one's mind is conditioned by this, by all this. If it isn't Christianity, it must have been Greek civilization, or the Egyptian civilization, or the Minoan civilization, and so on. So back. One's human brain is that. So, what is one to do? One can't depend on any authority. Because these people are the authoritarians. So, I am the result of all that. Right? That's obvious. And I am the rest of the world, which is a fact, psychologically. I may have a darker skin, and you may have lighter skin, you may be French, and I may be Tamilian, or whatever it is. But psychologically, you and I are same. So I am the world. I'm not verbally, it's a fact, a bleeding fact, a gut fact. And therefore I'm only left to myself. I am that. Unless the mind is free of all that, I can't say anything new. So the problem arises, is it possible to be free from the things imposed externally and from the things inwardly conditioning, which is all my condition, human condition. The existentialists accept this condition and say, make the best of it. Sadhana, And the humanists say, yes, we can't do anything more. We'll help you, old boy. Be good. It's all right. Accept, make better society, better conditions and works. You don't have to go into all that. So a man says, I won't accept all this. It is necessary to transform myself. I don't accept it. Neither communism, socialism. I don't accept any organization or the originators of organizations. It means no authority of experience or of knowledge. So I have to look at myself because I'm the world. I begin to understand the world there and move to here. If I start here, I'll go off my head. I'll become insane. It'll become illusory. So I have to start here, right, sir? Now, how can I study myself? Because whatever I think is the product of all this. So how am I to look at myself? So the whole content of myself is revealed, not bit by bit by bit by bit. That'll take all my life. Je vous en prie.
Is it not that kind of deconditioning somehow possible when we try not to use the conceptual mind and authority and so on, but try to get away from it? I had the impression that it is what attracted me in Buddhism and well, what we say vaguely as Oriental modes of thinking, that just there was some kind of training which was meant to decondition the mind.
I don't accept anything. Because personally, I haven't read Buddhism or Hinduism or any of these books. I won't accept any tradition.
Even a tradition of exercise, a tradition giving some type of practice, not giving content.
I won't accept any. Because they led me after millennia to this place where I am.
So, what will be your position?
I'll show you in a minute. I want to make this quite clear. Because the moment I introduce practice, method, I'm back into the old game. Because my guru has said, do this, according to his light. Another guru comes along and says, do that. And the super guru says, don't believe. So at the end of 5,000 years, more or less, as a human being, I am still where I was 6,000 years ago. I've progressed, I'm better.
But don't you have finally, let's say what we call our personal experience to know what guru, what a guru says is better than another?
Then you're asked, then like saying, you must murder to find out what it's like to murder people.
Well, if it were so important for me to know that.
I don't want to know this. Why should I know what other people have said? Because what other people have said is me. What Freud said is me. But I don't have to read Freud. So if I know how to read this book, then I throw everybody out of the window. So I don't know how to read this book. I must find out. So I can't depend on anybody. Which means I mustn't depend on my reading it. Whether I can read it properly. I may deceive myself. Because I'm caught in this illusion of other people's assertions. So I must learn to look at myself. Not through his eyes or your eyes or somebody. I must look at it with eyes that are clear, which doesn't belong to any person, to any organizer, to any guru, to any religious book. Otherwise I'll be back again in the same old world. So can I look at myself without any distortion? Distortion takes place when I want to achieve something. When I have a motive. When I say, I must understand myself in order to be free, then I'm lost. So can I look at myself without any motive, without any desire to go beyond that which I am? You understand? Not to reach an enlightenment, understanding, nothing. Those are all carrots hung before a donkey. So can I look at myself with such clear eyes that there is no distortion? It is not selfish observation, because I'm a human being. I am the rest of the world. I don't know. So it's not self-centered, egotistic, self-serving look. Because I've discarded all this, I have tremendous energy. So I look. I can look only when I've really discarded all the influences, back and forth. My reactions to influence and the influence's reaction to me. So I look. By looking, the observer is not different from the observed. I don't know if you're following this. Like the thinker is the thought. There is no thinker apart from thought. The experiencer is the experience. So there is no division. So there is no conflict, and so on, all that. So there is an observation only without the observer. The observer is the past and all the rest. Because then that which is observed undergoes a change. Because that which is being observed is observed with tremendous attention, and therefore with tremendous energy. So when you observe anger or whatever it is totally undergoes a radical change. And go on, all of it.
That means to say, in other words, to see it without any influence from anywhere, to see it as it is, without any interest, without any purpose or anything, see it as it is.
So, to see it as it is, the word, the name, has no relationship to that.
No. No.
Which means your mind is not caught up in words.
Right.
Which means thought is not in operation. Because you are observing. There is no thought
Right.
is absent in observation.
Yes, right. That is what I mean. That it is, there is no argument, no thinking, no reasoning.
No, but if you say no argument, no reason, but
no, that is the
see what is happening. There is no perception if there is a distortion. And word is a distortion when you are observing. Name is a distortion. Motive is a distortion. Any form of movement of thought in observation is a distortion. That's the truth. It's not an argument. I can argue about it, point out the reason, but the fact is that. So, when there is such observation, the thing that is being observed transforms itself. It's not there. It's something entirely different. I believe we discussed this with scientists. I discussed it. They have said what you are saying is true in science. Because when they look through a microscope, they put light on the thing they see. That light changes brings about a movement in that which they see. It's say psychologically, what we are saying is that. So that there is no conflict in observation. Conflict is our conditioning, encouraged by the priests, by followers.
So if I understand rightly, it's the absence of any duality.
That's right. Now, wait. We have to understand what duality is.
Well, the object-subject, the observer-observed.
Yes, sir, but you see, psychologically, there is no duality. Thought has invented the duality. I don't know if you follow what. I mean, so I am frightened. Thought has said, develop courage, which is the opposite. Because thought doesn't know how to resolve fear. It thinks it can resolve fear by the opposite. I don't know. But if fear can be resolved, then there is no opposite.
you are frightened and you become completely aware of your fear and you are one with your fear.
There is no you. There is no you.
There is no you.
That's right.
But in the way we speak.
I know. Moment you are, the other is not. The other is when you are not.
So you would say it's a fright, a feeling of fear arising and disappearing without somebody to be frightened.
No, fear is the thought is the root of fear. Time is the root of fear. I think I might die tomorrow. Time, interval. Or I've had pain and I fear it might happen again. Fear. So it is thought projecting or reacting to what might be or what has been. So thought is the root of fear. I can go to the dentist, sit in his chair for 4 hours, and all that drilling pain is registered and projected, hoping that you'll never have it again. But when the drilling pain is going on, not to register it. I don't know if you follow.
Not to register it, but to notice. You notice. Well, you notice when the drilling is
oh yes, you're there, but not to...
Not to register. Register beyond.
The pain. There is pain, but not, say by Joe, you know, the whole process of registration, which is the function of all the rest of it. So, if you go, sir, very deeply into this, the whole consciousness with its content, because content makes conscious and all that. The emptying of that is real liberation. Then something totally different takes place. Nothing mysterious, imaginative, romantic, and all that nonsense.
So may I ask you to...
Je vous en prie, allez-y.
What you said at the end. So now, you see in consciousness,
So
the root of that.
I am that. My consciousness is the consciousness of the world. Right? Culture may vary, but the content is my consciousness. Fear, greed, envy, my religion, my beliefs, my dogmas, my rituals, my anxiety, my sorrow, my quarrels, my experience. Not only mine, the whole world's consciousness is part of me. And the content of that is my consciousness. Now, that, if you won't go very deeply into it, the emptying of all that. Not partial emptying, because then it's no fun. Total emptying of all that. Ending sorrow, ending pain, all that content. Which is to be total emptiness. It all sounds crazy.
No, it doesn't. But how to achieve that? Because
there is no achievement.
Oh, well, how to be there?
You can't be there. You must be free of all this.
Yes, but...
So how can a man who is frightened love anything? How can a man who is ambitious, successful and all that, know what love is? Can't. But he says, I'll be ambitious, tell me the other, help me to get the other.
Can we say that, would you agree that what is usually called detachment, of self from self, would be a sort of first step in what you...
No, sorry. First step, sir, is the last step. Because attachment breeds fear. Dependence breeds fear. I depend on you, wife, husband, whatever it is. That breeds fear. Because I'm lonely, I'm uncomfortable, I'm miserable. I lean on you and you give me something and so I feel happy. So I become attached to you, like a dog. And then I go through all the pain of attachment. So I see all this in man. What time is it, sir?
Yes, I think we should have 4:35.
You have a long way to go.
2 hours.